for the 13th episode. Hold on, let's throw some background music on here. 13th episode, we've made it, guys. We keep on putting out videos. We keep on doing these live streams. And now we at episode 13. Up and coming, just started, but love it, man. Hashim 47, let's go, champ. You know I gotta highlight my man. He's always here. Like the moment that this thing goes up, he's always here. So much love, man. So much love. Thank you so much, Hashim. Let's look at the comment section because, boy, was that night controversial. Wasn't it a controversial night? We had controversy in Showtime. We had controversy on The Zone. We just had controversy all over the place. Let's take a look here. Episode 13, of course, Hashim 47. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Much appreciated. Hugh Jacks, the developer here. How's it going, my brother? It's going very, very well. Y'all smash the like button. Yes, why are y'all not listening to this man? He's been said this before I even started the stream, and we have we got a bunch of people watching right now, but we only got 4 likes. Come on, guys, we can get that up a little bit more, just a little bit, just a few ticks up. I'll be fine with just a few ticks up. Y'all like the stream? Yes, thank you. Lil Emmanuel reacts. Thank you very much, brother. What's up, Fanatico? Great elbow by KSI. YouTube boxing 6007. Yo, and AG Boy 91. Been watching your videos, but this is the first live I've been able to catch. Let's go. I love it. I love it. I love having you guys here. But now we got to talk about this Series X thing. By the way, the Series X was actually pretty exciting. The Salt Poppy versus Taylor. Is it Anthony Taylor? I want to say Anthony Taylor. Where he fights kind of with that peekaboo style. He was throwing these really good straight lefts down the pipe, catching Salt Poppy. Really good fight. That was my favorite fight of the night in terms of the competitive nature to it. But we got to talk about the Joe Fournier versus KSI fight. Now, your boy is 2 for 2 on these predictions so far. Hold up. Sorry. No, wrong thing. So far since we went live, your boy has been 2 for 2 incorrectly predicting. Now, I do deserve a little bit of a break though when it comes to these misfits fights, because it's hard to judge because I base it off of so much data that dates back to so much time. It's hard, right? It's not easy to judge a person who's a part-time boxer versus a person who's not fought good boxers yet, but he lacks a lot of technical elements. Like KSI, like I said, was going to throw that overhand right over and over and over and over. That was his bread and butter. He kept throwing it. I thought that Fournier was going to be good enough to get away from it, let him get a little bit exhausted doing that, and then capitalize. Fournier was not good enough to do that. Even before we start talking about that KO, as I said, me being wrong in this prediction was best case scenario for the saga of KSI, for the saga of misfits. Especially if we're trying to see KSI versus Jake Paul. Now KSI has an argument that he's beat a 9-0 pro. So it's a better story that KSI actually won the fight. But even before we get to the elbow, KSI was going to win that fight. There was nothing that Fournier was able to do to stop how explosive KSI was in comparison to him. He really did look like an old man. YouTube Boxer 6007, you was right. He looked like an old man. Like he should not be in there with a young, explosive dude like KSI. Even though KSI he's getting better. His punches are getting more technically sound, but he still lacks a lot of technical elements. For example, he doesn't really set up that overhand right. He's consistently throwing it all the time. But he still looked so much more explosive. Like he looked crazy dangerous. And Joe Fournier just looked like he was surviving the entire time. He looked like he was surviving the entire time. So I don't know, man. He need to hang up the way he lost. He need to hang it up. Like that's it, man. Like nobody, like you're done. You're done here, buddy. No more, Fournier. We love you. It's all right. it's nothing against you. You a billionaire. You going back to like you said. You going back to your penthouse. You gonna fly in your private jet. It's all good, and you have no pressure on you, win or lose. It's all good. Although now this is a perfect segue because we're gonna jump into the whole knockout. Was it an elbow knockout or was it not an elbow knockout? What do you guys think? I mean, this should be pretty obvious, but I want to know what you guys think. Jab, jab, elbow. Misfits making pro boxing a joke. Rules are rules, not negotiations. I understand that. Rules are rules, but little things like this do slip through the cracks every now and then. You never, like, even in real boxing. I mean, we had a controversial thing on Showtime, and that was real boxing. Things happen all the time. Misfits boxing, crossover boxing, YouTube boxing, and you know, high-ranked pro boxing. Same things happen all the time. $27.99 super chat by YouTube Boxing 6007. Thank you so much, brother. Here's to a great stream. Interested in hearing y'all thoughts on the Misfits card. Yes, me too. And KSI's weird elbow KO. All right. Clean elbow KO by Hashim. Slow Joe. Yeah, he definitely was slow. I know, bro. Yeah, you got this right. All right, so here we go. It was clearly an elbow. It was so much an elbow that KSI has already said that he elbowed him. So I'm on Twitter and I'm looking at people fighting back and forth. He didn't elbow him. He skinned him with his glove. That's what really knocked him out. He ain't really elbow him. He moved. So he didn't want to, therefore, and he went, and even KSI himself, and we can bring it up, even KSI himself, if I put KSI, let's see here, let's switch real quick so you guys can see, and nope, moving the wrong thing, grab this here, let's move this over here, and it reads, KSI speaking out about the way his fight ended. He wrote, I worked very hard for this fight and had an intense and grueling camp. He wrote, there's no better feeling than being in the ring and having my hand raised in front of my loyal and amazing fans who I appreciate so much. Unfortunately, these are KSI's words, everyone. Unfortunately, the victory, which was inevitable, which he's right. Like, come on. This dude was like wobbly legs all over the place. The danger was there. Like, what was Fournier going to do to him? Nothing. So he had the victory in the back of his, you know, in his back pocket at that point. Like, there was nothing I could see Fournier doing, which was inevitable no matter what. It's tarnished, and I hate that. He continues, it sucks. After landing my overhand, he was pretty much out on his feet. True. I went for a short right hook as Joe clinched me and fell into me. He added, I landed that hook and my glove made contact, but appears to have been followed by an unintentional contact with my forearm. I am gutted. That is not as clean a win as I wanted, and it feels like it diminishes my hard work with my trainers. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate the support. KSI concluded, sorry to all the fans disappointed with it. No one is more so than me. Okay, so he himself is disappointed in the knockout. He himself believes that it was a elbow. So please, let's put this to rest. Anyone that's out there capping that it wasn't an elbow, trying to say, nah, man, look, if you slow it down, but then you reverse it, and if you split the video in half and you disconnect it, and then you connect it to another video that happened in 1947, and it's an elbow, bro. He elbowed this man. But it was by accident. He didn't intentionally elbow him. But unfortunately, the things that knock you out are usually the punches that you don't see. Fournier did the correct thing in that moment. Those overhand rights was lighting him up, so he smothered him and did not think that an elbow was going to come in. So he didn't expect it. He was hit flush with an elbow. but it was accidental. It was in the heat of the moment. He's trying to punch, he gets smothered, and boom, elbow lands right on Fournier's chin and knocks him down. Now Fournier is going to contest it with the PBA, I believe, the Boxing Association. I forget what the acronym exactly means, but it is a boxing association. He's going to appeal or contest the win. I think that there is validity there for him to get bare minimum a no contest. So it'll look like KSI would have a no contest on his record, and then they might run it back, right? They might run it back, which I think is unnecessary. No need to run it back. KSI is going to do the same thing KSI was doing in that fight, but they definitely might run it back. It might be a no contest or, if anything, a disqualification, but rarely do they turn things over into a disqualification. Normally when these contested things happen, what they do is they just put it as an NC, a no contest. And that might be the case. He does, I'm saying Fournier has a good legitimate case, and he's a billionaire, so you know he's gonna have the best team to go ahead and argue this case for him. Should be ruled no contest in my opinion. Yeah, it's more than likely going that route if he definitely goes and ahead and appeals the decision. Joe looked so awful as I expected. LMFAO, Deji, Anthony Taylor, Saul Poppy, even Swarms can destroy Fournier. Yeah, man, it looks like all those guys could be Fournier. He looked bad, man. You right, man. He looked bad, man. He looked real bad. He looked slow. He looked real slow. That's why it should be a no contest instead of a DQ, in my opinion. If it was on purpose, then the disqualification would be acceptable. Exactly. I feel the same way. Because it was unintentional, obviously don't take it away from him and make him get a loss. But definitely, I could see an argument for you to take away the win and make it just a no contest, a no contest fight. A bad night for boxing referees, KSI winning, and Rolly Romero. Now, we could talk about that Rolly Romero fight as well. Hold on one second. Oh God, I heard the Rolly fight was a train wreck. Oh yeah, that one's crazy. That one was crazy too. Fournier exposed as a fake champ. Well, I mean, he wasn't really like a champ kind of dude. He was just a billionaire that he trained in boxing, and then he just decided, hey, I'm bored. Let me go ahead and get into the pro ranks and fight all these like low level kind of guys. I mean, one of his fights was on a Triller card, and it was like with a guy with a reggaeton artist. So it was kind of not even a real fight, but that was considered a pro fight. So even though he's pro, it ain't the same thing as fighting somebody like Tommy Fury is still, to me, a much higher level than a Joe Fournier. But this keeps the talks alive for KSI versus Jake Paul, which is just gonna keep he could use this as an argument or momentum to say, look, I beat two pro boxers. You've only fought one pro boxer, and you've lost to that one pro boxer. So I think that this is going to be a good argument for KSI to keep pushing the narrative. He wants Tommy Fury next. What do you guys think would happen if he fights Tommy Fury next? Because Tommy Fury was in the ring. Tommy Fury is like sitting back, relaxing, loving this attention that he's getting from YouTube boxing, because to him it's just like it feels like it's free checks. It feels like he's just getting these free checks. What do you guys think would happen if KSI fought Tommy Fury? I'm curious. Let's see. Fournier is a billionaire that decided to take up boxing as a hobby at the age of 30. Yeah, Tommy Fury started boxing at the age of 6 or something like that, and actually is still young and has talent. Exactly. It ain't the same thing. That's just a billionaire with money trying to do something, trying to do something because he's bored. While Tommy Fury's been fighting, although Tommy doesn't have that much amateur experience and he's not the best boxer out there, I think he's good enough for these guys out here, for these YouTube guys. At least now we can say that Andrew Tate would be KO'd by KSI. I think Andrew Tate would lose to KSI. Believe it or not, I really do think he would lose. Like, I've seen the sparring footage. He was sparring like another YouTuber. Unless he was going mega, super duper easy on him, I think Andrew Tate would lose to KSI if they fought. In the replay of the elbow, Fournier tried to run and clinch and got caught. No, he tried to close the distance, which is smart. When you're hurt, the unintelligent thing or the dumb thing to do is to be like, let's go, like I'm hurt, like you can't really see. The safest thing to do is come close and smother all that stuff, and then at least you sometimes you don't even, you see multiple people, you're seeing a bunch of people, your vision is doing something like this, like the world is moving like this and like this, right? So the best thing to do is that when you can get in close, when you know where they are, by just the feeling of the proximity, you come close, you smother everything. He did the right thing. But he didn't expect that an elbow was gonna come, right? Because you could still hit somebody with an elbow even in an awkward, situation, and hit them with an elbow hard in an awkward situation. But you can't really hit good with unless you hit them like right here with a good short hook. Is harder, but it's much easier because the elbow is so short, right? It's much easier. That's why people who have shorter arms, like Mike Tyson, they tend to hit harder because those shorter arms are good for being in close and getting enough leverage behind them before you land them. But yeah, man, it is what it is, man. It sucks. It sucks. It really does. Like, I wish he could have gotten a clean win, because inevitably he was going to win that fight. In my opinion, inevitably he was going to win that fight. The Rolly Romero fight was a complete joke. If the ref didn't gift him that win, Rolly would have lost on points. Yeah, Rolly was down on points. It wasn't the last round. I think it was like the 9th round, or what was the round? I think it was the 9th round or something like that. Rolly had knocked him down in that round, but it was kind of like a knockdown push kind of situation. But he did get punched. He did look a little hurt, but then he got pushed. It was a weird knockdown. Rolly had gotten knocked down earlier in the fight. I had Barbosa up the entire fight, so I thought he was up in the fight. And then he kind of corners him. I don't understand if Tony Weeks decided, okay, he's a 40-year-old man. He looks old too, right? He looks much older than 40. To me, he looked like he was 50 or something. And I don't know if that created some sort of like extra like mental protection in Tony Weeks's mind for Barbosa. Like, if do I need to protect them a little bit more than I protect other people? But I think he overcorrected. If that was his mentality, I think he overcorrected with Rolly Romero's punches, because Rolly Romero barely landed any punches when they were in that exchange. And you could see it in the face of Barbosa that he was like, yo, what? Like, for real? You really just stopped this fight? Like, I was good. Like, bro, I was winning this fight. I was good. He barely landed anything in that barrage. Come on, man. Come on. So it looks like that's it for Barbosa. Like, I can't see anything else ever happening. I mean, unless they give him a rematch, which I doubt, because I think he was made to order, for like mail order to be destroyed by Rolly Romero. But that just wasn't the case. He was actually outsmarting Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero just lacks too much of those technical things that you need. I mean, I don't think he's as bad as people say, but he's definitely not good. Like, he's definitely not a good boxer to that high level, that elite level, not even close, in my opinion. And he was basically shown to not be that good by Barbosa. So I don't know. I don't know what's next. They're probably going to try to push for Rolly Romero, maybe to fight Tank Davis again, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to be interested in that fight. I feel like Tank could get him out of there, whenever he wants. He just buys his time a little bit. And sure, he got hit by Rolly a few times, but I feel like Tank would just get him out of there at some point in the fight. Tommy looked huge compared to KSI. Meanwhile, Tommy next to Jake looked equal size, if not a slight hair shorter than Jake. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He did. He 100% did look big. I feel like KSI cares a lot about how his physique looks, so he gets down to like a physique that he likes. Meanwhile, when it comes to like Tommy Fury, he just big, and like KSI, I'm not gonna build that much muscle to get big and still have like this physique that he likes. So I think it's gonna be a weird, like, they're gonna probably try to bring Tommy Fury down a little bit to his weight, and then we're gonna see what happens. That fight will be huge. KSI versus Tommy Fury will be massive, because then we get to see what if he beats Tommy Fury. This is the perfect scenario for Jake Paul, because then he could kind of almost erase everything with just one fight, right? He could almost kind of do that with just one fight. If he loses to Tommy Fury, it's still a good situation because Jake already lost to Tommy Fury, so KSI and Jake Paul could still fight. KSI fighting Jake Paul is becoming more and more of a realistic thing every single KSI event. KSI fighting 2 people in one night. KSI beating Joe Fournier, decimating him. Even though he's not that big of a deal, even though he's not all that, he's Joe Fournier is whatever, it's still like an event that's showing people, oh, look at KSI, look at KSI, look at KSI. And he's like not just winning, he's, even though it's wild punches and he's getting better, he's sharpening it a little bit more, but it's still wild. He's still winning and knocking people out and just beating people from pillar to post. It's like not even close to these fights. So I'm very curious to see the Jake Paul versus KSI fight, because it's being built perfectly. In my opinion, it's being built perfectly. They might mess around and do something like north of 800,000 pay-per-view buys. No lie. They literally might mess around and do something north of 800,000 up to like 900,000 pay-per-view buys. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised, because it's going to be the fandom versus the fandom. The Jake Paul fandom versus the KSI fandom, and then everybody in between. The people that are just curious about it. All right, let's take a look here. Yay G, hey Mr. Boxing Fanatico. I'm a big fan of you. I was hoping if you can give me some motivational words. I'm an amateur boxer. Okay, I mean, just, you know, stay within yourself. Make sure that you stay focused. You take it seriously, depending on how far you want to go. If you want to win, what's your amateur? Focus on amateurs. I feel like one thing that a lot of amateurs like to do is they like to think about the pros. Don't think about the pros. Let the pros come when it comes, if that's the route that you're going. Focus on winning state competitions. Golden Gloves, that's huge, right? Golden Gloves is huge for your state. Try to win Golden Gloves. Try to have multiple Golden Gloves under your belt, and then try to do things on the state level, on the national level, and then if you're good enough that you're doing stuff really well in the national level, try to do things in the international level. Focus on amateur itself. And then all of the stuff that you need will come. How old are you, by the way? How old are you? Are you just starting, or how long have you been doing it? Just a question. That way I could maybe get a better understanding. KSI beats him. He's gonna confuse him with his wild punches. You think KSI beats Tommy Fury? This is interesting. We getting interesting right now. You think KSI beats Tommy Fury? This is interesting. I don't know. I don't think he does, but if he does, man, that's crazy. If he does, I won't never doubt KSI ever again. I will be like, listen, those wild overhand rights work. Somehow people just can't stop it. It works. Hold on a second. Prince Leo, Tommy just jabs him in the face the whole fight. Yeah, I mean, but hey, listen, if that works too, you can't knock him, man. It works, man. He's going to do it and he's going to win. You having a person who's been boxing since they were young versus a new boxer. So KSI winning would be astronomical, and would send the Jake Paul versus KSI fight into the stratosphere. And Jake Paul will now appear to be the underdog in what would be an unprecedented flip from KSI being an underdog, and within like 2 years becoming the betting favorite. That would be insane from just a short period of time. That perception flip that would happen just from him beating Tommy Fury. Because 2 years ago or a year ago, it was almost a joke to even talk about KSI versus Jake Paul. Not because KSI sucked or because KSI didn't belong in the ring with Jake Paul or any of that stuff. It's just that Jake Paul was doing much more. It seemed that his path was much more difficult. He was fighting actual combat sports athletes, while KSI was fighting people, but either they were pro, but they weren't really good pros, or didn't have much amateur background, or they had a lot of losses, or whatever it is. Like, he had those kind of things where it was like, we don't know if this is really like enough to make him a viable opponent for Jake Paul. But now after the Fournier fight, in my opinion, I feel like Jake Paul and KSI are right there. And that's a super fight. Within the crossover boxing world, within the YouTube boxing, that's perfect because it'll bring that bridge. It's like that bridge. Jake Paul is that bridge, but he could move in different directions. He can move a little bit this way or a little bit that way. And he comes this way. It's just a mega fight where the whole YouTube world comes together to watch that, right? I think it'll be a big event. It's hard to say who would win that one, to be quite honest. It's hard to say. Andrew Tate also has a bad retina injury that could blind him if he gets hit full force. Oh, yeah, man. Those retina tears, man, those are tough to deal with. Sugar Ray Leonard had to deal with that one. That's what made him retire. Also, he is closer to Logan Paul's size, so he likely fight him instead. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's pretty big. KSI versus Tommy is an interesting matchup style-wise. Jake doesn't push the pace like KSI, and his shots are very calculated, and he throws no feints. You're saying whose shots are calculated? KSI shots? Because KSI does not throw calculated shots. KSI throws these super looping overhand right, but they land. Like you would think all you have to do to fight KSI is block, slip, hit. Block, slip, hit. Just always constantly rotate to your right, away from that right hand. And you would think that somebody would do it, but like people just don't do it. He doesn't have a left hand that he's going to use. It's just that overhand right. So I don't know. I feel like Jake Paul, I guess he takes his time because he's trying to show all the different levels of his boxing skills. And you're also trying to learn when you're in there. When you're in a professional fight, they're also trying to use that as experience, as a learning experience, how it feels, the atmosphere while you're fighting in that environment, how to remain calm, how to do different things. So, he's still, KSI, he just wants to knock you out. While, to me, Jake Paul is like trying to show all the things that he's learned and put them on display when he's fighting. That was a terrible stoppage from the ref, and I didn't even see the full Rolly fight. Oh yeah, it was bad. And with the context of the Rolly fight, it's even worse because Rolly was clearly, in my opinion, but probably the opinions of most people too, he was losing that fight. He was not able to land anything. He was getting smacked real hard by punches when he was coming in. It was bad for Rolly. Jake actually has an underrated feint game, in my opinion. Check out Woodley and Silva fights. Oh yeah. He got his feints. He got feints. He uses feints and he tricks people. He does different things. He reads them off of the feints. He does a lot of things. It's not just like this straight up and down thing that he's doing. Granted, he's not he's not this pro high ranked boxer, but he does have little things that he does that are smart things, that they're not just let me go and punch you. While with KSI, I feel like he's really athletic and explosive, and he uses that to his advantage, fully to his advantage, and that's the reason why he could constantly keep landing on his opponents. And when he lands, he has some crazy power in that right hand. He's just knocking people out. That man was 55 at least. Yo, he looked like he was 55. Barroso, he looked like he was 55. 55, he could have been 60. I mean, if he told me he was 60, I'd be like, yo, I believe you, bro. I believe you. Rolly pushed him down and got called a knockdown. It was rigged from the start. I mean, there was a point where he slipped, Barroso slipped, and it didn't get ruled a knockdown. It was ruled a slip. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe after all this time and Rolly was getting beat up, maybe Tony Weeks was like, all right, let me just call this one a knockdown, get it closer. I don't know, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. But in my opinion, it was definitely a bad stoppage. Everybody was saying it was a bad stoppage. Showtime was saying it was a bad stoppage. Steven Espinoza, the head of Showtime Sports, he was saying it was a bad stoppage. So everybody said it was a bad stoppage. So it was a bad stoppage. Like, it really was. Like, if you watch it, with the context of the fight, is 100% bad because Barroso was doing his thing throughout the whole fight. So you in those moments, you give people a chance. Now, is it the worst stoppage ever? I still think that nothing will ever top the was it Mildred Taylor versus Julio Cesar Chavez with like a few seconds left, and he was beating up Julio Cesar Chavez, and then they called the fight. Forget the name of, I think it was Richard Steele who called the fight. I still think that that's the worst call or the worst ending of a fight in boxing, even worse than this one. If you haven't seen it, look at, I think it's Mildred Taylor versus Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. and look at the last part of that fight. It's crazy. But Rolly the GOAT though. Yeah, he the GOAT. He the GOAT. He the GOAT. Willie was gases and scared to hit to the body. Tommy bit on none of Jake's feints, but he wasn't scared of his power. Yeah. Even though he got dropped, but he wasn't scared. He wasn't scared of his power. Rolly versus Ryan is the fight to make, in my opinion. Both Tank's sons. Yeah, let's do that. That makes sense, in my opinion. That makes sense. Who won? Rolly beat Barrosa. KSI beat Fournier, but that might be overturned because KSI hit Fournier with an elbow shot. Jidin, how do you say this guy's name? Jidin says he's gonna box on Misfits. Well, that'll be big if he does. I know he's a big streamer. That'll be a big event if he does that, or that'll be a big show if he boxes. That's the cool thing about these Misfits boxing. It's like they could always find stars. It's like they could grab stars like easy, just like they could pick whoever they want. Oh, you know what, Gideon, let's bring him in, and now we got an event out of nowhere. Immediately, his first fight is a big event because people just want to see how does he perform when he boxes. So Misfit has a really good business model by using YouTubers as boxers, because they already come with the star power behind them. It's fusing the world of boxing and just the star power of big YouTubers. And even small YouTubers become big, like Saul Papa. He wasn't that big of a deal, and now because of his fighting, he became a big deal because of the whole Misfit stuff. KSI fights better fighting up. Example, KSI versus Logan. That's why he uses those overhand rights. But the thing with, even when he fought Logan Paul, I don't think he was fighting better than Logan Paul. I do think that in the first fight, Logan Paul got super tired, but he was definitely dominating in the beginning part. And then KSI had to come back to kind of make it a tie because Logan Paul was doing his thing in that first fight. In the second fight, I think he was fighting really well, but there wasn't that many rounds in the fight, and he was deducted 2 points for hitting KSI in the back of his head as he was going down, and I think that dramatically changed the fight. But Logan Paul looked more technically sound to me than KSI in that fight. However, KSI looks way more technically sound than he did in that Logan Paul fight. So I would give KSI the at least the fact that he has definitely improved by a lot since he fought Logan Paul, and his confidence is through the roof, and you gotta love it because that's the confidence that allows him to do what he's doing right now, fight Joe Fournier without any fear. There was no fear in his eyes. He didn't talk the talk, he also walked the walk. When he was in that ring, there was no fear, no respect. He went and bulldozed Joe Fournier in that fight, throwing those overhand rights as he always does, but it works, man. If it ain't broke, I guess, I don't know, don't fix it, man. Maybe Tommy Fury gonna have to make him start to readjust that thought process, but maybe not. Let's see, man. I've been wrong. I was wrong about Fournier. I might be wrong about Tommy Fury. I think Tommy Fury stops KSI within 4 rounds, in my opinion. All right, YouTube boxing. That makes sense. I don't know. I can see KSI knocking down Tommy Fury with the overhand, and we'd have to see how Tommy Fury reacts to that. I don't know. I feel like Tommy Fury could take those punches, man. I feel like Tommy Fury could definitely take those punches. What's up, Fanatico? Brad Carr, what's going on? We're going to have to kind of zoom past a few of these a little bit, simply because I'm so behind. I'm trying to catch up, guys. My apologies. We got Poe in the house, bro. Rolly said it. Rolly said what? What did Rolly say? Poe, what's going on, brother? What did Rolly say? Woodley's counterpunching wasn't a problem ever for Jake Paul. I don't know where y'all getting this idea about Woodley being a good boxer. from Jake Paul, outworked him in his first fight. I mean, in the first fight, it was pretty dangerous for Jake Paul. It looked dangerous to me for Jake Paul. Jake Paul was getting hit. He did his thing though, and he was hitting him with combos, which was great. But I do think that it felt a little bit dangerous for Jake Paul, but he was able to pull out the win. And then the second fight, of course, it was all she wrote. He hit him with that right hand beautifully. Looked like it was going low, and he brought it up. That was very smart move by Jake Paul. He did his thing in that fight. Even when he was fighting Tommy Fury, he looked like he was not the better boxer in that situation, but he did not have that quit mentality. He kept trying. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to, he wasn't able to get the win. I think Jake hits harder than KSI. It is very possible that Jake hits harder than KSI. He's knocking out people like Tyron Woodley, and he's knocking them out cold, right? That's not an easy thing to do. Jake hits harder, but he also needs someone who stands there for 40 minutes like Willie to do it. He also knocked down Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva don't be standing there. He's he has really good head movement. He moves a lot in the ring. He's very frenetic. So he was able to do some work on Anderson Silva, and he dropped him. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he could line it up. Not against somebody like Tommy Fury, although he dropped Tommy Fury, but I think if he gets a chance, he can line it up and get a good shot in there. I don't know what you're talking about, Poe. Who you got? Loma Haney? Not doing that yet. We're going to do the prediction. We're going to do the prediction this week for sure. But I'm not going to tell you which episode it is. So you're going to have to, you'll see it in the title. When the episode comes, you'll see it in the title when we do the live. Fanatico, what's going on, Poe? What's up, brother? Because Jake is all around better boxer than KSI, I understand that styles make fights, but you got to have the patience, counters, jabs, 1-2s, body shots, and face that Jake has. Exactly. KSI has that super, it's almost like, it's very crazy because all of these guys are like microcosms of other guys, right? If I look at KSI, I feel like he's a little bit of a microcosm of like a Deontay Wilder. Obviously not Deontay Wilder in any way, shape, or form in terms of like the amount of power Deontay Wilder has. Not like that, but in the sense that there's this one tool that's so dangerous that it makes people who are good still lose to him because it's just that powerful or it's just that consistent. He has the one thing that constantly just works for him every single time, and he goes to that well over and over again, and he's been rewarded for that. So I think that KSI just has that little kind of like that thing where, for example, same thing with Deontay Wilder. He didn't really have much of anything else. He had a good jab, a decent jab, but he didn't have much of anything else other than the decent jab and that powerful right hand. KSI has a looping right hand, that overhand right that just works. And it could beat great boxers, or not great boxers, but good, really good boxers within the realm of the levels of fighters that he's fighting. Some could even beat somebody maybe like a Jake Paul because it just lands all the time. It just does damage, right? So we'll have to wait and see, but I do think that that'll be a really good fight. I didn't think it was going to be a good fight like 2 years ago. I do definitely think it's going to be a good fight now. Fanatico gonna box on Misfits, haha, if the bag right. Yeah, man, if the bag is right, man, we do anything. We do anything if the bag's right. Just let me know. I want to fight Bug and Wings both in one night. Who? Wings? Oh, Boogie and Wings. Boogie 988 or whatever his name is, and Wings of Redemption. I mean, I would see that fight. I would watch that fight. You're forgetting KSI dropped Logan. That wasn't counted in the second fight. And then Logan rocked him and allowed KSI to control the whole fight after the rock. KSI to me, he did not look like the better boxer in there. He was rocked badly against Logan Paul. I felt like Logan Paul was doing his thing, but Logan Paul just does not have what's important with these kind of things. He doesn't have that killer instinct. Oddly enough, Logan Paul is just too, and this is going to sound mad weird. It's going to sound weird because it's going to be like, no, he isn't because of his history, right? But I think he's too good of a person. Like, he's too nice. He's too nice of a guy. So he doesn't want to hurt people for real. And because he doesn't have that killer instincts, you have to almost think like, you know that the person's not gonna pass away, but you gotta think like, I'm in there to like kill this dude. Like I'm in there to really like do damage. You have to think like that for you to be able to have that killer instinct. And I don't think Logan Paul has that. So when he hurts KSI, he can't capitalize on it because there's a little bit of him that's hesitant to hurt KSI. There's like a little thing inside of him that's like, yo, don't do this, don't do this. You could get hurt, man. Like you could hurt him badly or whatever. And like that little voice inside of his head makes him hesitant. It does. It just does. I know it sounds crazy because he's Logan Paul and I get it, the past and all this stuff that he's done or whatever. I think he's wanted to make views and do all that stuff. I think deep down inside, he's too nice of a person, and that's not something that will help you in boxing. So, yeah, he picked the perfect sport. He picked wrestling. That's a perfect sport for Logan Paul. Logan won 4-2 in the first fight, in my opinion. Yeah, he definitely but the draw was reasonable. Yeah, I think he did. He looked like the better fighter in both of the fights. But he was deducted 2 points, and that's just super difficult, man. That's just super difficult. The rematch, I felt Logan was robbed, and the 2-point deduction was BS. Yeah, however, if they counted KSI as knockdown in the round 3, they would have tied. Yeah. I mean, but he lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even a tie. It was like he lost the fight. And that's tough, man. That's tough. And now it keeps KSI, undefeated. But it works. It works because now the whole Jake Paul versus KSI, man. KSI being Fournier, he did his job. He did what he needed to do. And now we're building up to an epic battle. Which, I'm telling you, those pay-per-view numbers are going to be crazy, man. Don't underestimate the power of eyeballs. Don't underestimate the power of fandom and having, fans behind you, especially with YouTube boxing. Anything could happen. You always have a feeling of anything could happen. It feels more like anything could happen than actual real boxing in the sense that you never know. Like, I mean, people don't even be knowing the rules correctly when it comes to these things. So literally, even in the sense of like what they will do, anything could happen. Not just with the fight outcome, but literally how they're going to fight and what they're going to look like. You never know. You'll sit there and be like, all right, let me see this guy fight for the first time. I've never seen him fight. And he'll go in there winging shots, looking super sloppy, and you'll be like, what? This is how he fights. And it's a surprise. It's almost like a pleasant surprise of entertainment. Like, damn, I thought you was training and you knew what you was doing. You just, you throwing arm punches all over the place. So it's one of those things where it's just the aura of, that should be their tagline. Misfits boxing or YouTube boxing. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen, man. That should be their tagline for real. Jake looks better. Logan also looked better. Taylor Holder looked good. Deji looks good. Yes, but I think Deji looks real good and he really has a good slick, nice style. And he's learned pretty quickly how to fight. He's been doing good. He's been doing his thing. But I think KSI beats them all. Styles makes fights. It would be crazy. A Deji versus KSI fight, that would be crazy down the line. Sometime down the line, if KSI somehow beats Jake Paul, that would be insane. I'm telling you, there's so many pieces that you could put together. This Misfit thing could go on for a really long time with all the star power and the new star power they could just inject into the whole DAZN Series X is insane. It was a quick stoppage. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I saw it. He literally hit KSI while he was on all fours, but if they counted KSI's knockdown and didn't deduct points, yes, we've already read that. But yeah, it would have been controlled. What? KSI would have won because he controlled the rest of the fight. I don't know, man. It was close. It was close. I thought Logan Paul did good to win that fight, but the 2-point deduction kind of brought it to, it was difficult, man. It was difficult. And 2 points being deducted by a referee is almost unprecedented. I've never seen it happen before. If anybody could point to a time when a referee took 2 points off, let me know. But I've been watching boxing for a while and I've not seen that happen. So I've always seen 1 point deducted at a time, not 2 points in one sitting. But hey. Yeah, I've been boxing for 2 years. I'm 19. I have a tournament in 2 weeks because I want to make history in my school by being the first amateur champion. And the story of my school is a 3-fight tournament. Well, good luck, brother. Yay, G. Good luck. We believe in you. You can do it. You can do it. Just stay focused, man. The fact that you came in here talking about it means that you're giddy. You're giddy about it. You're thinking about it. It's something that you really like. If you didn't care for it, you would never have mentioned it. You never have talked about it. You're giddy about it, so that means it's inside of you. You genuinely like what's going on, and you have a good passion for it. So keep doing it, man, and hopefully come back. Let us know when we go live if you won, if you made it to the second round, if you was a runner-up. Let us know, man. Let us know, because progress is still progress, man. Even if you don't win, progress is still progress. But try to win. Try your best to go out there and win. 2 years of boxing. That's cool, man. 19. That's kind of when I was training around 17, 18. I trained from around 17 to about 19 years old in the Bronx. So this is kind of like close to how I was. The way you're explaining it is 2 years. You started around 17, kind of the same thing as me. Logan was outboxed by KSI that night. It was overshadowed. Man, okay, we get it. You like KSI, you like KSI, and you feel that he won against Logan Paul. I completely understand, my man. We get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. We don't have to keep hearing it no more. We understand, man. I hear you. I hear you. Jake slipped a lot of Fury's jabs, landed a lot of his own jabs, and counter left hooks, went to the body decently against a moving target like Tommy, and overall gave a good performance despite the loss. Yes, he did pretty good. He did pretty good against Tommy Fury. And I think Tommy Fury is harder than anybody that KSI has fought. So I'm very interested in the Tommy Fury versus KSI fight. I feel like KSI has nothing to lose, because you lose to Tommy Fury, you can still make the Jake Paul fight. If you beat Tommy Fury, the Jake Paul fight just becomes that much more grandeur and huge, and Tommy Fury's career is basically over. So those three things would happen. So I think there's no loss for KSI. KSI wins no matter what happens when he fights, if he fights against Tommy Fury. And it looks like that's what they're going to put together. It looks like that's what they're going to put together. It looks like they both want the fight. So let's see. Good performance, but it was a complete blowout. All right, Fanatico versus Wade or Showbiz. What? Nah, Showbiz my dude, man. I can't go against Showbiz. We actually good friends. I can't go against Showbiz, so nope, that can't happen. Wade, he looked like a nice guy. I don't know, he looked like a real nice guy. I don't think I would, but you never know, man. Anything can happen. Logan definitely could have finished KSI in the 4th or 5th round if he actually let his hands go after dropping a KSI. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, Logan held back. He does not have the killer instinct. He just doesn't have it. Which is, it's unfortunate. You have to be able to snap yourself into this brutality and then snap yourself out of that brutality after the fight is over. But he just doesn't have that. So what can you do? Tommy Fury is what Logan Paul wants to be. No shade. But if we look at it, very similar builds, personality, etc. Wait, Tommy Fury is what Logan Paul wants to be? This seems like out of left field. Like, why would Logan Paul want to be like Tommy Fury? I think Logan Paul is making a great name for himself with his Prime energy drink or Prime sports drink and his appearances on the WWE. Like, he's doing his thing on the WWE. So I don't know. In my opinion, I think he's doing his thing. Like, I don't see him wanting to be Tommy Fury. I feel like that's weird. Could have, would have, should have, but Hart won KSI that fight. Hey, yeah, Hart, not skilled. Definitely not skilled during that time, but Hart, yes. But as I said, he's become better, right? So he's gotten better since that fight. So kudos to him and Logan, because they teamed up anyways. And now, they got a really popular sports drink. Logan would be the best if he had Jake's mindset. Probably even be able to beat Tommy. Yeah, if he had Jake's mindset, I think Logan would have been the best fighter in the whole YouTube boxing landscape. I think if he would have stuck to it and he would have, because he has the athleticism naturally. He's naturally athletic. But if he would have had the mindset of Jake, like the don't want to lose no matter what mindset, because you could lose even though you have the thought of like, I don't want to lose no matter what, because you put your best foot forward, your best effort forward. And that's what Jake Paul did even against Tommy Fury. But Logan doesn't have, I swear you could tell Logan doesn't have that. You see the tentativeness in him, even if he's dominating somebody, even if he's doing well, even if a person's hurt, you see that there's this tentativeness with him. Like he doesn't want to really hurt you. And that really hurts him in boxing. So, he pivoted to wrestling, and he's been doing, look how athletic he is there. Like he's even been able to do amazing stuff in boxing because he's just naturally athletic. So I think he's naturally an athletic guy. He just wasn't able to have that killer instinct that you need in boxing. Logan seems like me when it comes to boxing fighting. When I tried my hand at boxing, I was apologizing after hitting people in light spars. Love watching the sport though. Yeah, man, you really have to have that like you have to have like that you don't care what's happening to that person kind of mindset. And then when it's all over, you snap out of it. Like you snap out of it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's the only way you could like really just like get somebody out of there and knock them out, because that comes with so much blunt force trauma, and you're thinking about it and you're empathetic, because you can easily become empathetic because as a boxer, you know how it feels if you get hit. So it's one of those things where you have to completely just be like without empathy, without any of that stuff, almost borderline sociopathic to be able to just go at somebody and create that blunt force trauma and just knock them out and be like, all right, whatever, and then snap back to reality after you do all of that stuff. Both of the brothers of KSI and Jake Paul seem too nice to be fighters. LMAO, Deji's such an innocent seeming guy. Logan has had controversies and is a jerk, but he don't mean like but that don't mean he likes to fight. Yeah. He has his like he's a jerk moments or whatever, but you could tell in terms of like physical harm onto somebody, he's not that type of guy. He's not that type of guy that's trying to do that. But the 2 points not given for the clear knockdown has to be accounted for too. Yeah. For the Logan Paul versus KSI. Yeah, that was weird. LOL, Logan's winning in life way more than Tommy. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know why he would want to be Tommy. Like, Logan Paul would be depressed if he woke up as famous as Tommy. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a very weird thing to say, that he would want to be like Tommy. I don't understand. I feel like he's built such a behemoth of a social media footprint that, like, why would he want to do that? I don't know. Brad Carr, let's see his response. Tommy's boxing skills and mentality is what I meant. Both very capable. Not one got it and won't, and one don't. But I don't think that Logan cares about boxing as much as you may think he cares about boxing. I don't think he really cares about it. I think he did the KSI thing originally because his social media career was plummeting at the time. So he almost looked at KSI as like somewhat of a savior to his career, right? KSI said, hey, I'll fight you. And just with KSI saying, I'll fight you, there was a mutual benefit there for KSI because he's beating up the people everyone hates, which was Logan Paul. But it also gave Logan Paul an opportunity to be relevant again in a different space where he doesn't have to do all of this like vlogging and like high over the top stuff, and it let him come down to earth a little bit, and it gave him a path. It gave him a new path where he could become this new Logan Paul that we see now, to pivot completely away from the whole Japan forest thing that he went through. And I think, that on top of all of that, that made him look at KSI as an even more, enamored even more by KSI. So made it even harder for him to try to go out there and knock KSI out. But I think that was why he fought the first fight. Then the second fight was because the first fight was a draw. It also gives him something to keep talking about. It felt right, like, oh, there's a North Star, which is this fight. So he just did it. And then him versus Mayweather was just, well, why say no to me fighting considered one of the best fighters of all time. Like, might as well, like, screw it, why not? So then he ends up fighting Mayweather. So I think all of those were happenstance moments. It wasn't like he really loved boxing and he really wanted to get into it. I think it was just, hey, this makes sense right now. Oh, this rematch does make sense. Got it was a draw. Let's do a rematch. We could build up to it. It gives me content or whatever. And then we have the fight. And then Mayweather wants to fight me. Well, why not? Let's fight Mayweather too. Like, who's going to say no to that? And then they just did the fight. So I don't think he ever really wanted to be a boxer. I think he just kind of got sucked into it because of the circumstance. If he was doing his thing with his vlogging and nothing had happened and he was still like on going 100 miles per hour and everything was good money, I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have boxed. He may not have even accepted any offer to box. Because why? Why put himself in that position? YouTube boxing was not a thing yet. It was kind of there. It was like slightly a real thing, but it wasn't like like an actual like behemoth the way it is now. It was just something small that got big because KSI entered the whole thing, right? Because when Joe Weller did that whole boxing thing, which Joe Weller should be credited with starting YouTube boxing, but he's not, because he started it, but he didn't popularize it. KSI popularized it when he fought Logan Paul. But yeah, Logan would have said no. He would have said no because it wasn't a big deal. I think Anthony Taylor beats KSI. That could be a good fight. I would love to see that. I 100% agree. Logan's size, athleticism, quick reflexes, work ethic, and snappy jab will make him the best in the influencer scene. If he had the killer instinct, yes, like his less talented brother Jake does. But Jake has worked much harder with boxing than Logan, but it's only because he stayed consistent with it. KSI might elbow Tommy too. AP, whatever was going on, brother. He said he might elbow Tommy too. Let's see, Tommy better stay away from that elbow for real. Logan only fought KSI to save face and to try something new. Exactly. He only had an exhibition with Floyd due to the spectacle and the clout he get, of course. He hasn't found reasons to box since, which is telling. Exactly. He doesn't want to box. He doesn't want to box. He was super hyped when he got into the WWE because he don't want to box. He want to do something else. He doesn't like boxing. He doesn't actually like hurting people. Crazy to think that KSI was already legendary as a YouTube creator years before he did boxing. Oh, yeah. He was a FIFA creator. A FIFA content creator. You explained it last week. Boxing for Logan was the equivalent of love and hip hop. Yep, there you go. It opened up other doors for him and made people talk about him outside of the BS he was known for. Exactly. YouTube boxing, and I've said this last week, I'm gonna say it again, has become the love and hip hop for art, for how love and hip hop work for artists. YouTube boxing is working for YouTubers. It's giving them a platform to, like, I had not heard about Boogie 988 in a long time. Like, he was really popular within the gaming scene years ago. And then he's fighting, and I'm like, I want to see this. Like, I want to see what he going to do, how this is going to look. I want to see the spectacle of him going against Wings of Redemption. This looks entertaining to me, right? It's the same thing. It's like, how, Joe Budden used to rap back in the days, but then you want to see him just living life or whatever, or edited life or whatever. You just want to see what's going on with that. And then that in turn makes you kind of think about, hey, I want to know more. Like, is he making music? Like, what is he doing? I want to follow him. It creates a new spark and a new trajectory for those artists. And that's the same thing with YouTube boxing. YouTube boxing is even making people stars, right? The same way Love and Hip Hop makes people stars that weren't stars, right? One person that you could point at is what's this girl's name, man? Cardi B. Cardi B is somebody that came from there, and there was like, she could have maybe made it without it, but I think that had a big part to do with her growth, which eventually led to her becoming who she is now. So this is making stars like Salt Poppy, and it's rebuilding stars like what it did for Logan Paul. If Logan never got canceled for the Japan Forest incident, then Logan would have still been really relevant after that and matured over time. Yeah, and Jay probably would have messed up bad. Yeah, I don't know, man. Boxing may have helped both of them, man. I don't know. Love and hip hop of boxing. Yep. Boogie got destroyed in the ring. Not gonna lie. Yeah, man, he wasn't ready for it. We need more YouTube boxers that are heavyweights. I mean, yo, that was crazy. The combined weight was insane between both Boogie and Wings of Redemption. Crazy. Bro, I didn't even watch the Boogie fight. How'd that go? Yeah, it was not, like, it was crazy. It was entertaining. It was weird. It was short minutes, short round. I think it was like 2 minutes or a minute and a half each round, and it was only like 3 rounds. I don't know. It was crazy. It was really short. Or 2 rounds, and it was like a minute and a half each. Something really quick like that. Wings destroyed Boogie like I predicted. Yeah, Wings was doing his thing. It's crazy how much YouTube boxing have blown up in how many years now? 2 years. Can't deny that it brought some more attention back to the sport. 100%. I mean, I say it all the time, man. I say it all the time. It always brings it, like, when you connect the dots. Like, boxing is starting to increase in popularity at the same time that the YouTube boxing started that YouTube boxing revolution, pushing, crossover with Logan versus Floyd Mayweather, making it even tether more to the actual sport. Mayweather is Tank Davis promoter. Tank is fighting Ryan, who has collaborated with Jake Paul. Then I'm telling you, bro, it's connecting. It's a connective tissue that has helped the sport of boxing itself. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end it now. We're 1 minute past AP, whatever. I wanted to catch it right at 8 o'clock so I could show you that I land on 8 o'clock every single time, but I wasn't able to do it. But we 1 minute after. It's all good. It's basically the same thing. And look at Jeremiah Asoba here. YouTube boxing is the only reason I started watching boxing, not gonna lie. Look at that. Look at that, man. It's making real, it's making real fans. It's creating a gateway for fans. It's creating a gateway for fans. I'm telling you, man. People think that I made that up, and I've been talking about the possibility of things like this, like what Jeremiah just said, since back in 2020. Go watch my videos. Go watch my videos when I was talking about why KSI should fight Logan Paul a third time, and I was saying how that could save boxing. And people were like, "You must be out of your mind saying that that's gonna save boxing. That got nothing to do with boxing." No. You guys don't have that vision, that understanding of like what's going on here. Once you see the data and the numbers, you can see, man, this is something important, not just for the YouTubers to get their shine, but also for the whole boxing community as a whole. And now look, boxing is hip. Now it's cool to box. Before it wasn't cool. It was only cool to do MMA. Boxing was for grandpas. Now boxing looks hip and cool. We got the Ryan Garcias, the Tank Davises. It looks cool now. It's a cool thing to be a boxer. And that was perpetuated from the whole YouTube boxing, elevating collaboration, siphoning audiences between the two. And that's how it happened. All right, the skills. Hence the skills comments on Jay. Logan is much more skillful, like Tommy, etc., but it's mentally, etc. But yeah, that's my point. Hence Jay losing to Tommy pretty easily, part 2. Hope you good, Fanatico. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Nice to see you in here, by the way. YouTube MMA events would go crazy. Yo, I don't even know, man. I don't think that they should do that, man. I feel like at least with boxing, it's just punching, so it's very clear, cut, and dry. It's not all these crazy things. I think they should keep it to the boxing landscape. Hit the like on your way out, just like my man said right here. YouTube Boxing 6007, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button as well, because we're gonna be live now. I'm changing my live cadence until we start picking up a little bit more steam. I'm changing my live cadence. We're going to be live every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then we're off on the weekends, obviously. So we're off on Tuesday and Thursday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll be live. Same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, we're building this thing. That's why I don't want to stop it completely, but I am going to spread them out so we could keep a good cadence for these live streams and keep the live stream going, because I know you guys love it. I'm having a blast doing it, and we're going to keep these numbers going up and up and up. Just hit the like, hit the subscribe so that we can move towards that path. Good night, Adrian Jones. W, my brother. I tapped in a little late, I guess, this stream. I'm W homies right now. I'm with my homies right now, though, but you know I'm going to tap in when I can. Yeah, no problem, brother. No problem. I remember that video. Still bummed out that Logan and KSI didn't go to the trilogy, not going to lie. Oh, you saw the video. Damn, that's crazy, man. Thanks. Peace out, y'all. We need HBO boxing back, to be honest. Man, I'm telling you, the Zone is the new HBO boxing. It's become the new HBO boxing. Glad to be a boxing fan. Is lit right now. Yes, sir. 100%. Fire emojis. I can see a pay-per-view. I can see pay-per-view for online boxing. Hey, listen, that's a possibility too. W stream, stay safe. There's a certain game that can make it happen. I'm not going to name any names, though. Yeah, please don't. All right, so we're out of here, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Wednesday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, when we go for episode 14 right here on Boxing Fanatico for Boxing Fanatico Live. Peace out, guys.